Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I know our ears are prying and itching, waiting to listen to the words of a governor who has become an acknowledged nationwide as the conscience and prophet of the nation, politically and security-wise. There is nothing he has said that has not come to pass since 2015. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I invite a man whom the Benue people know as the defender of the Benue Valley, the Nyamkume Nigeria, the executive governor of Benue State, His Excellency, Dr. Samuel Yoraenyi Ortom Adorogo, a man with a compassionate heart, very large at heart, very courageous. He's the voice of the voiceless. May I invite to the microphone, manning to deliver words on the second batch of the passing out of the Benue State Community Volunteer Guard. Your Excellency, after your speech, you will remain to take the rest of the parade. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. You can be seated. Your Excellencies and members of Benue State Security and Executive Council, Your Majesties, Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with great sense of commitment to ensuring security of lives and property, as well as peaceful coexistence for all the people living in the confines of Benue State, that the Benue State government, alongside with Benue communities, decided on the establishment of community volunteer guards. With the law enacted by the Benue State House of Assembly in July 2000 and amended in 2021. You may recall that on the 4th of August 2022, we inaugurated the first batch of 500 trained community volunteer guards to complement the efforts of the conventional security operatives at combating increased incidents of insecurity and breach of peace by incessant attacks on Benue farming communities. In fact, these attacks have displaced millions of our people, most of them taking refuge in internally displaced persons camps. The ugly trend informed the amendment of the Community Volunteer Guards Law of 2021, which came into force on the 26th day of October 2021. This law is to strengthen and give meaning to the law banning open grazing or all forms of domestic animals, enacted by the Benue State government in 2017 to prevent incessant attacks on our farming communities and to encourage ranching as the international best practice in animal husbandry. In order to enhance effective operation and proper coverage of the state, the Benue State government has decided to train an additional 1,100 personnel to the 500 earlier trained and inaugurated on the 4th of August 2022. By the grace of God, our intention is to ensure that we have 10,000 community volunteer guards before the end of my tenure. I wish to reiterate that the essence of the Benue State Community Volunteer Guards Law, as amended, is to complement the former security agencies, especially the Nigerian police, in crime prevention and securing of lives and property in Benue State. I believe all well-meaning Nigerians feel very challenged over the spate of wanton killings and adoptions being meted out on Nigerians, especially on the unprotected rural farmers, travelers, and defenseless students. All of us as Nigerians have a responsibility to check this evil. The instruction of those who are set to decimate, take over, and control our resources and destiny as a nation with every deserving force and will. In this regard, the training and passing out of the second batch of the Community Volunteer Guards is not just a mere celebration of involvement of people in protecting themselves, but also a milestone in effort to ensure a stable, peaceful, and united Nigeria, where all and unsundry shall enjoy equal rights and God-given freedom. On this note, I once again urge the command structure of the Benue State Volunteer Guards to operate strictly within the ambit of the law, in order not to betray the powers bestowed on them by the people of Benue State. Remain apolitical, conscientious and cautious, vigilant, strong, to stand firm and protect the people of Benue State. It is important for you to be mindful that the conventional security agencies are your allies, and your success depends on how well you synergize with them as co-workers. Underline the word complement. You have to complement the security agencies, and that was why we drew up those who trained you from the army, from the police, from the civil defense, from the DSS, to ensure that when you start operation, you'll be working with them to complement what they are doing. On our part, the government and people of Benue State will continue to give you moral support, pray for you, and equip you adequately to succeed in the performance of the onerous responsibility you have taken upon yourselves. Towards this end, the Benue State government has already procured some essential equipment as permitted by law and handed them over to the Nigerian police for use by Benue State Community Volunteer Guards for effective crime fighting. Motor vehicles, motorcycles have also been made available to you directly, and additional vehicles and motorcycles have been procured and will be made available to you today as part of the essential logistics tool for crime fighting. I wish to assure you that we'll continue to acquire more equipment and weapons that are permitted by law to ensure that you don't endanger yourself, but you effectively perform in this assignment. This giant step towards self-defense is indeed a clarion call to all Nigerians of nationalistic and patriotic spirit to rise and not only support our cause, but also throw in their weight to maintain and sustain our lives and nationhood. I have, on behalf of the Benue State government, applied to the responsible federal government agency for approval to procure automatic weapons, particularly AK-47 assault rifle, to further strengthen your logistic support base and your defense capability. I am still waiting for approval from the federal government, despite the fact that I've done this application 3 months ago. No single reply has been given to me. I'm still waiting. I have a responsibility to the state government and the people of Benue State. If in the next 1 month there is no reply, I will revert to the people of Benue State and seek their opinion. Whatever they tell me is what I am going to do. Because the federal government that is complicit in the Fulani killings must rise up to its responsibility of protecting lives and property. We cannot continue like this. Our security men have done their best. At least, I don't know all about other places, but in Benue State, those conventional security men that have been posted here have done their best. Some have even sacrificed their lives, and their families are suffering. They have paid the supreme price. It's on record that from 2017 to date, the Nigerian Army, the police, the civil defense, the DSS, over 120 personnel of these conventional forces have been killed right here in Benue State by these terrorist Fulani herdsmen. So at least the ones posted to Benue State have done their best. But the challenge is still there. And that was why we decided the community volunteer guards should complement what they are doing, because you can't blame them. They are grossly inadequate. How many police do we have in Benue? How many army personnel do we have in Benue? How many civil defense do we have in Benue? And how many DSS men do we have in Benue? That is a challenge. But I believe with the coming in of the community volunteer guards, we shall complement their efforts, and these killings, if not stopped, will be reduced to its minimum size in Benue State. The state governments are currently working with the federal government of Nigeria towards moving community policing to state police. When this becomes a reality, we will give the current community volunteer guards the preemptive right to join the state police. That is the first right of refusal. All of you in community volunteer guards today, if by the grace of God we get the right by law, we shall make you have the first right of refusal. At this junction, I appreciate the strong will of the security agencies towards fighting the menace of Boko Haram, banditry, ISWAP, the merciless killings of our farmers by marauding Fulani terrorist herdsmen, which have become a security threat of unknown magnitude in the history of our dear nation. I urge you all, the Nigerian police, the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, the Navy, the Civil Defense, the DSS, and other paramilitary agencies to remain resolute and committed to the oath to defend our dear country, Nigeria. Furthermore, I implore the traditional rulers, religious leaders of thought to all stand for the oneness and continuity of our dear nation. Finally, we toast in prayer the victory of righteous path over evil. Thus, yip, yip, yip. Thank you all. God bless you. In God we trust.
His Excellency has delivered his words. He will still remain on the saluting dais for the rest of the parade. The parade commander.
Go!